Good evening. I'm Dr. Dead, and welcome to SinisterMediaHD, where shadows whisper and legends come to life. Tonight, I invite you to step into the rotting fields of a long-abandoned farm. A place the locals call Scarecrow Hollow. What began as a harmless dare turned into a nightmare stitched in straw, blood, and bone. So turn off the lights. And whatever you do, don't mock the scarecrows. Let's begin.
The wind carried a dry whisper through the trees as Kayla parked her dad's pickup at the edge of the woods. Behind them lay nothing but thick brush and silence. "Come on," she said, hopping out with her phone already recording. "This is gonna blow up. Urban legend, creepy farm, scarecrows that move, perfect Halloween content. Or we die trying," Marcus muttered, adjusting his hoodie and shouldering a flashlight. "Don't joke about that," Lena said, fidgeting with the charm necklace around her neck. "You know what they say about this place. It's not just a ghost story. People used to live here, until they disappeared. That was like 100 years ago," Brandon said, laughing. "I'm more scared of raccoons than ancient curses." Jude didn't say anything. He had his sketchbook tucked under one arm, and his eyes kept drifting toward the trees. He'd always been the quiet one. Sensitive. Observant. They followed a narrow deer path deeper into the woods. The forest thinned, revealing a wide, weed-choked field. At the far end, an old barn sagged under the weight of time, its roof split like a wound. The farmhouse loomed nearby, windows hollow and dark. But what froze them all were the scarecrows. Dozens of them. Some slumped on stakes. Others frozen in strange, human-like poses. Reaching, running, even mid-scream. They lined the field in chaotic rows. A few were dressed in faded overalls or stained church clothes. One had a locket. Another still wore glasses. Their faces were burlap, but they looked almost aware. Lena whispered, "They say the witch turned the whole town into scarecrows. Every single one who mocked her. They laughed at her, beat her, even tied her to a post. Now they're all stuck like that." Brandon scoffed and walked up to one of them. "Well, this guy's got terrible posture. Here, let me help." He twisted its straw-filled arm, cracking it up over its head like a yoga pose. "Dude, don't," Kayla said, laughing nervously. Marcus joined in, tugging another scarecrow's hat down over its face and snapping a selfie. "Say cheese, Captain Creepy Pants." They kept going, mocking and joking. Jude stayed back, sketching one of the scarecrows hunched over as if it were crying. He noticed something odd. The angle of the arms didn't match the posture of the others. It looked posed. Paint. Kayla, eager for content, lit one of the scarecrows on fire with a lighter. Its straw body ignited with a whoosh, and the flames licked the sky. They all hooped like it was a victory. Then, the wind changed. A deep, groaning noise echoed from the barn. Did you guys hear that?" Lena asked, clutching her charm. "Just the wind," Brandon said, although his face had lost some of its smugness. They decided to leave. As they turned away, Jude glanced back, and his blood ran cold. One of the scarecrows had moved. That night, Marcus heard tapping on his window. At first, he thought it was a branch, but then it tapped in threes. Tap, tap, tap. He opened the curtain. Standing in the backyard, barely lit by the porch light, was a scarecrow. Not one from the farm. This one was new, but it had the same twisted posture, and it was closer than the field should allow. He blinked. It was gone. Jude couldn't sleep. He flipped through his sketchbook, stopping at the drawing he'd made at the farm. Something was off. The scarecrow he'd drawn was now holding a scythe. He didn't remember drawing that. Worse, the scarecrow's face looked familiar. Like Brandon. The next morning, Brandon didn't show up for school. His parents thought he'd stayed over at Marcus's. But his last message was just a short video, grainy footage of the scarecrows in the field moving. Back at the diner, Kayla sat stiffly while Lena whispered prayers under her breath. "He's gone," Jude said quietly. "They took him." Kayla slammed her cup down. "No, we're not just going to sit here. We go back. Tonight. You want to go back to the cursed murder farm where Brandon disappeared?" Marcus asked. "If there's a chance we can bring him back, we take it," Kayla said. "We woke something up. Now we end it." They returned to Scarecrow Hollow as the sun dipped behind the trees. This time, the air was colder, harsher. The scarecrows stood as before, but somehow, they seemed closer. Inside the farmhouse, they found a broken-down library. Jude uncovered a journal tucked inside a wall cavity. Its pages were brittle but legible. They mocked me, stripped me, staked me. They feared what they did not understand. But the soil remembers. The field listens. I gave them the gift of eternity, bound to the very crops they once reaped. The witch wrote this, Jude whispered. She didn't curse them for fun. They tortured her. Kayla flipped ahead. One page showed a blood sigil. Another had the words, "The price of reversal is blood willingly offered in place of the bound." "That means we have to trade someone," Marcus said. "Hell no." Lena found something else. In the barn, beneath rotten hay. A grave. A skeletal form bound in wire, its mouth sewn shut. The witch. "I had a dream about her," Lena said. "She spoke to me. I think we have to cut the stitches." As she knelt beside the grave, a distant scream shattered the air. They ran outside. Marcus was gone. The only thing left was his flashlight, lying next to a new scarecrow, just slightly off from the rest. It had Marcus's hoodie. Kayla was breaking down. "I started this. It's my fault. I'll do it. I'll be the sacrifice." "No," Lena said. "There has to be another way." "We don't have time," Jude said, backing away. Look, all the scarecrows had turned toward them. Dozens of them. Faces still burlap, but now with eyes, hollow and burning. They were moving, slow and rhythmic, dragging limbs through the soil. One held a broken pitchfork. Another had a butcher's cleaver. They weren't scarecrows anymore. They were the dead. Awake. The three ran for the barn. "We need to finish the ritual," Lena cried. The journal said something about forgiveness. "We have to release her." Jude handed her his pocket knife. "Then do it." The scarecrows gathered outside, blocking every exit. Lena knelt at the grave, hands trembling. She cut the stitches from the witch's mouth. The earth rumbled. A voice, dry as dust but filled with pain, filled the barn. They laughed as I burned. They begged only when it was too late. "Will you beg now?" Lena whispered, "We're sorry. We mocked you too. We didn't understand. But we see you now. We believe you. Please, let them go." The wind howled. Outside, the scarecrows halted, then burst into ash. The next morning, the field was empty. No scarecrows. No farmhouse. Just a clearing where Scarecrow Hollow had once been. Kayla, Jude, and Lena stood in silence. Marcus and Brandon were gone. Only Jude dared to speak. The price was paid, but not forgotten. Weeks passed. Fall turned to winter. Most forgot the rumors. One boy didn't. Late one afternoon, a teen dared to follow the woods into the clearing, camera in hand. He found a single scarecrow in the center of the field. Its head slowly tilted, and its stitched mouth opened. The end.
And so, the Hollow sleeps, for now. But it never forgets. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Dead, here on SinisterMediaHD. If you enjoyed tonight's tale of terror, be sure to subscribe, tap that bell of doom, and leave a comment. If your voice still works. And remember, legends die, but curses live forever. Until next time, keep one eye open. And one foot out of the cornfield.